Hey everyone, it's Paul from SimCoach. It's been a while since I put one of these out, but here we are. This week we are at Nurbs GP for IMSA, so going to run through a lap. This is on full fuel. I think it was the second lap of my stint. So yeah, I'll go through it from the outside view to start with, then from the cockpit, and then we'll go through it kind of corner by corner and explain what I'm looking for. Enjoy. Right, so let's have another look at this. So, starting the lap. So going down into turn one. What I'm looking for is the 100 board, or just before this curb. So if I go into the cockpit, just before the curb, we're going to go full on the brakes and then start bleeding it off as the speed comes out. And we're gonna turn in fairly late. I mean, there isn't really a reference here. it's just kind of, I don't know, halfway down the AstroTurf kind of thing. And we're trail braking all the way in, and we're downshifting down to first kind of quite late, because otherwise we can get too much rotation and the rear will want to snap round. So we want to get fairly close to this apex here, but it's not like when you're in a GT3 or a P Cup or anything like that where you want to basically smash that bollard. The car's a little bit too stiff for that, so it causes the car to jump. So we get it in, kind of graze the curb, and then as soon as we're kind of made the jump, we can start squeezing that throttle back in. You've got to be a bit patient to stop the rear from spinning out. And we don't really want to be going all the way out here. I mean, anywhere sort of between here and here is good, because basically what we want to do is we want to get quite far over to the right to set ourselves up for the next bit. So we go up to second, and then as we tip her in, again, there's not really a reference point here. It's just, you're going to have to just kind of feel for it. And what I'm looking to do is kind of get up to second gear, and then we tip her in, and we just kind of brush the brakes here, tiny little bit, just to keep the nose in. So we use the brakes just to keep the nose engaged and just to keep the grip levels there. And then as soon as we know we're going to make the corner, we can really squeeze, really kind of elongate that throttle squeeze it out, because otherwise, if you just smash the throttle in, you're gonna either understeer or you're gonna kick the rear round, and overcook the tyres, which is something we don't want. So we want to use all of this on the exit. You can't go too far, because it'll be an off track. You can tell I've not done this for a little while, can't you? So I think the limit is the tyres on that white line. So just be aware of that. And we want to basically run down this curb all the way to the bottom, and then we'll start braking. Again, it's kind of hard to give you any reference points here. But maybe 50 meters before maybe 100 meters before the end of the AstroTurf. And we want to brake, and we really got to trail brake in, turn in, use a lot of this curb on the inside. This isn't an off track. And we want to be turning in quite late here, so as late as we can. I know it's a blind apex because the pillar's in the way, but we want to take all of this on the inside, and we really want to stay as far to the left hand side of this track as we can. So you've got to be really patient with this throttle application here, because if you get on it too much, you're just going to end up over here, and then you're in no man's land for the next corner, and you'll lose so much time because you'll have to brake or you'll have to lift heavily. But the further over to the left that we can keep it here, the more we open it up for the next corner. So I'll just show this again from the outside. So we stay really wide, turning really late. We're trail braking in the whole time, getting over this curb, keeping it on the left, as far over to the left as we can, and then we chuck it in, little lift just to get the rotation, and then we use all of this curb on the inside as well. You can cut a lot of this without it being an off track. Pretty much all four wheels would have to be on the curb if you wanted to, if you was going to get an off track. And then we just really squeeze that in. And again, on the exit, as long as you don't touch this AstroTurf, you're okay. If you touch the light stuff, you're okay. And again, you've got to get the car back onto the track before you touch this AstroTurf over here as well. So you can kind of do this, but you don't want to be touching any of this. So moving on down to here, what I'm looking for is basically as this kind of gravelly AstroTurfy bit shows up, and we want to chuck it in, trail braking all the way in. Kind of, you're probably better off not touching this curb on the inside because it kind of pushes the car off wide, but you want to get as close to it as you can while doing this trail braking. So I'll just show this again. Trail braking in, and then we squeeze the throttle on exit. We don't want to be going all the way over here, and we don't need to be getting fully back on the gas because it will mean that you're too quick into this bit. So squeeze quite a bit of gas in, but then as soon as kind of you start getting towards this curb disappearing in front of the bonnet, that's when you want to start braking for the next one. And we want to kind of get the car over to the left and then tip her in. You don't want to touch this curb on the inside. Again, you want to get as close to it as you can, but without touching it. And then really, again, squeeze this throttle in. Look at the elongation on the throttle there. It will basically stop you from overheating the rear tyres and kicking the rear of the car around too much. You can use all of this on the outside. You can even go as far to almost touching the gravel without it being an off track. This is absolutely fine. So use all of the track. And then coming down to the hairpin, what I'm looking for here is where the curb starts straightening out. So you'll see here it starts straightening out there, and that's where I'm getting on the brakes. And I'm basically using all of this track. So you want to use this kind of curby gutter bit and brake all in a straight line down to the apex, trail braking off the whole time, get it down to first gear, and then really squeeze that throttle in again. There's a lot more grip here than you think there is because of the way the camber is on the track. There's a lot of inward camber, so you can trust it and you can carry a lot of speed through here. I'll just show it from the outside. So we go out onto this, brake really heavily, trail braking in as we scrub the speed off and we put the steering input in. And then we squeeze that throttle in as we open the steering out, let it run wide. And again, you can use all of this curb on the outside, or again, you can even go as far to almost touching the gravel. And then for this, we can use a little bit of this curb. You don't want to go up onto this concrete because it can make the car bottom out. So we can use a little bit of it. This is flat, it's always flat. You don't want to use this curb on the inside, but you can use this one. But again, don't use too much of it because it will bottom the car out and you'll lose a bit of speed. So you can use that much of it. That's absolutely fine. But any more than that, and the car will bottom out because it will kind of canoe down the middle of this curb here on the under tray of the car. So just show this again from the outside. Little bit of curb, no curb, little bit of curb. And again, you don't really want to be running really wide out here because you're just making the track longer for no reason. Keep it towards the middle as we run up to the next corner, which is what I'm looking for here is basically the AstroTurf just before it. So kind of here, just in front of the AstroTurf. You can use quite a lot of this. This wasn't an off track. So I think the limit is basically the middle of the car being on the AstroTurf. So this was very close to being an off track, but it wasn't. So yeah, so we go just before the AstroTurf, quite a heavy brake in, trailing it in, and we can use all of this on the inside here as well. You can actually borderline touch the grass here. So you want to really tip her in, and then use all of this on the inside. Squeeze the throttle in. You don't really want to be going over this curb because you're just messing up the next corner. So you want to continue the corner even once you're done with it and get all the way out here to the left. So that's why I'm really squeezing that throttle in so that I can get back over here, and then we tip her in second, and it's just a little tiny breath on the brake, as you can see here, just to keep the nose in. And then we squeeze the throttle in, again using all of this on the outside. This isn't an off track, you can borderline touch the gravel out here and it's absolutely fine. And now the hardest bit of the track is the horrible chicane that nobody likes. So what I'm looking for here is the start of this concrete here, and we're braking heavily in a straight line. We're using all of the track, so you'll see that I am literally lined up to the grass, right? So we want to use all of the track, and we use pretty much 100% of the brake because it's uphill as well, so we get a lot more braking performance, so we can hold that 100% brake for quite a while. and then as the speed starts coming out of it, we can start reducing that down all the way down to first as we tip it in, and then we want to bounce off this first curb and then cut that second one like that while putting some gas in. So the technique here, you want to basically, you sacrifice the first bit so that you can get a better line into the second bit. So if I just rewind that back again and play it slowly. So we turn in very, very late, and we're aiming to smash the inside of this curb here, even onto the green bit. We jump, keep turning, and then we go over, and we can cut all of that. So this isn't an off track, it's not a slow down. We can use all of that like that. So the whole car's over the curb there. And that, doing it like this, it will make it feel like the car's bottomed out and almost gone in a straight line, but it's just how it is. If you've got this line right, the car will go straight rather than it bouncing around. And then you can use all of this on the exit. And then the last corner, again, there's not really many reference points on this track. If I go to cockpit, why can't I see it? There it is. So there's a bit of an argument between keeping it in second and let it bouncing off the limiter, or going up to third. I'm undecided. I kind of like just bouncing it off second, because it just gives you a bit more time to sort yourself out going into the corner. And we want to turn in quite late, trail braking in, down to first, little nibble on that curb, and then really squeeze this throttle in on the way out. And you can use all of this runoff on the outside. I've actually gone a little bit narrow there. You can use all of this AstroTurf, as you can see that I have done in previous laps. So that was a 1:45.8, which was this lap, and that was on full fuel. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. It's been a while, and yeah, any questions, as always, give me a shout in Discord, and we'll go through it. Thanks a lot for your time, guys. Take care.